athlete builder, back at it. Every time I get ready to start one of these things, I systematically go through our guest's bio. I think about clever things I want to say in the intro, and I had all that planned out here, and I'm completely going to pivot. First, I got Christopher Smith on today. From my standpoint, it looks like that sweatshirt is orange, and I'm a huge Cleveland Browns fan, so we're already starting off on the right foot. Plus, as a football guy, a two-time national champ out of St. Francis, and before we even hopped on here on this recording, I said, "Man, are those shoe boxes behind your head?" So he turned his camera. So Christopher, I'm needing you to turn your camera for everyone else to see this right away. So check out the Nike, Adidas, whatever display right out of Foot Locker, right? Where my guy here has a setup that is clearly he's sponsored by all the shoe companies and he's always looking good. A little bit about Chris. Works at Warren Central, local high school here in Indianapolis. So shout out Derek Moyers for hooking us up. Love Coach Moyers. Took care of our coaching my son for the longest time. And normally we don't have a lot of high school coaches on, if ever, right? However, Christopher's done well, and now he's coach of the year, from what I've been told, in the strength and conditioning world. So that is high praise. Before we even got on into that, I was telling him about the Mental Edge Academy, and I forgot that in my intro, that we are brought to you by the AEA Institute, where we have the Mental Edge Academy. We're working on mental performance at all points in time. So hit me up for that. The other thing about Chris, didn't play just one sport, played lots of sports. And when I look at him, what he played growing up, I see football, karate, boxing, soccer for a big boy, track, basketball, you name it. So well-rounded guy, lots of energy. Gonna have a lot of fun today. Shout out Derek Moores, Warren Central High School Strength and Conditioning Coach of the Year, Christopher Smith out of St. Francis. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you for the welcome. Let's
Yeah,
get active.
let's get after this. So Derek didn't lie. He said you get a lot of energy. You're funny to hang out with and talk to, but you get a lot of results. In that vein, funniest college moment that you had?
The funniest college moment that actually it was fall camp, and we're going through. I just had transitioned from defense to offense because the team needed me to play a role, which I played in high school, which I actually enjoyed. They moved me to fullback, and when I moved to fullback, um, I wasn't in the position that I felt that I needed to be in. So I wasn't in the one or the two spot. So what I did was they called a play, and I went through and I hit our starting All-American inside linebacker, knocked his helmet off, busted his chin, gave him like 6 stitches in his chin or something. He was like leaking.
Mm.
And I walked to the head coach and I said, "I do every single starter like that. You keep playing with me." And I just walked away. And everybody on the squad looking like, so
Hmm.
yeah, that just tells a little bit about me.
Well, I don't know if that was very funny, but I'll tell you this: it's deliberate and intentional. And when I talk to the athletes about being intentional when they go in to train, that's a big piece. What was your welcome to college football moment where you're like, man? Because I know you went to Arsenal and you said Pike High School where you graduated, but from there you went on to college. It's always a different level. What was your welcome moment where you're like, oh man, okay, this is a little more for real than what I'm used to?
So I went against one of our All-American defensive ends, and I'll tell the story all the time. And being intentional, like you speak about, I'm very intentional. Like everything that I do, like I look at it, I think about it, and I view it in a 360. So like, what's the good and what's the bad that can come from this? But going into this moment, I took a step wrong. So I took a power step that wasn't really powerful, and barely got that stump in the ground. He did get a stump in the ground, and he stalemated me. I've never been stalemated ever in football. Like I've always heart myself, like if this guy doesn't move a yard or two, I lost a rep. And I kind of got like stunned. So I felt like, man, like this guy's kind of strong, but his technique was a little bit better. So that made me learn. And I don't know if you know, his name is Lucas Sparks. He came out of Ohio. Very good player, undersized player, but he was very good. And if he had about 2 or 3 more inches, he definitely would be a Sunday guy. But going against that and understanding that I still have some work to do really held me accountable to the standard.
Love that. So, for those that follow the show, you know, in the athlete builder world, we talk about the head and the body, and the head has mindset, knowledge of the sport, and then dealing with teammates. Physically, there's your training, nutrition, and recovery. So, what I like there that Christopher just said is that, you know, he was strong. The other guy was strong as well, but a little more sound technique wise. That's a knowledge piece, that's a rep piece, and everything matters. You can get by for so long on just being physically better, or you can get by just being more technically sound. You put those two things together, look out, it's deadly. What are 5 words your college coach would use to describe Christopher Smith? Only 5.
Tough, discipline, integrity, accountability, smart.
Okay. You can go a long way with that, and several of those are our core values um, as well. Now you coach kids. You coach kids, high school level. What are 5 words the fellas would say describe you, if they're any different?
Energy, wisdom, accountability, integrity, um, confidence.
All right. I imagine you coach the ladies too, right?
Yes, sir.
Anything different there?
No, no, sir.
So what you see is what you get.
Yes.
The
Straightforward.
accountability is huge. Ego at the door. Constant feedback loop. Give me the information so I can get better immediately. So rare, so valued. That's huge. Now, you won 2 national titles in college. You coach kids now. Would you rather win as a player, the whole thing one time, or coach a team that you groom these kids? They come with you 4 years, right?
Yes,
And
sir.
now they're in either a state finals or a college national championship, and you're one of the coaches that got them there and changed their lives, and they win it. But you can only have one. Either you win the whole thing with your boys, or you lead a team of boys or lead a team of girls, and then they win the whole thing. Which one would you rather have? It's an unfair question.
It is an unfair question because without going through the process, I don't think I will value it enough to pass it off because I haven't experienced it. So I would say going through the process, every step of the process is valuable because now I can use the science, I can use the knowledge that I have obtained and also personal experience. So without going through, I don't think that I would be comfortable enough to even express like I know how it feels or what it feels like to be in that position. So I think I don't truly believe you can have one without the other.
I don't know
That's
if you
my
answer. I don't know if you answered my question how I wanted you to. I wanted you to pick one, but hey, the answer is the answer, and that's all right. Nike or Adidas?
Adidas. Now,
Really?
now, yeah, Adidas.
No kidding.
But it depends on, are you saying stylish wear? Are you saying athletic wear?
I don't
What you
know, man.
you asking?
But I'm gonna say both show up and they say, hey, man, here's the same sponsorship, 1 million a year. We want to cover you head to toe in Nike or Adidas, but you can only wear one. You can't wear the other. Whether you're going hiking, whether you're going out, whether you're coaching, whether you're working out.
The political answer would be Adidas because we're sponsored by Adidas.
No, okay, got
But
it,
but
got
Nike,
it.
but Nike all the way in the heart. I got to be truthful. Nike
Okay,
is, and actually, it's funny when I was going through my process of the interview process, like you was mentioning Derek Moyers, JT Whitaker. They were saying like, we're sponsored by Adidas. You know, you got to wear Adidas. Can't wear your. I said, man, I can't wear my J's. Like this is what we do, and this is where I come from. We wear the J's. But
yeah.
it was fun. I couldn't wear my J's, and I kind of had like a funny moment with everybody that was around the Warren community. Like, man, I can't wear my Jordans. It's gonna be tough for me, but hey, I'm here, so I got to do whatever the plan is. I got to execute it.
All right, I like that. Teamwork is a core value. Teammates a core value. We're stronger together. So yeah, I like that. Okay. I watched the documentary, not documentary, it's a movie with Matt Damon and how Nike brought Jordan on. I don't know if you saw that movie or not.
Yes, yeah,
So well done. It was so well researched at the time. Nike was nothing that special. That was my era because I grew, I was born in '74, so in the '80s, it was Julius Irving first, and then Magic and Bird, all wearing Converse, and then here comes Michael, right, wearing Nikes, and I thought, well, I like Nikes, but they're no Converse, right? There's no way. And so watching how that unfolded and all the behind the scenes stuff, uh, I thought it was great, great movie. Learned a lot of fun, and you kind of get some of those insights. And it's so many kids will just say, "Hey, I'm going to be the best ever. I'm going to be the greatest." Blah blah blah. And then to go out there and change an entire industry and a planet like that was once in a lifetime, right?
Yeah, we was talking about iconic. A lot of people talk about like iconic, and they be mentioning like Steph Curry, some of these new players. I'm like, nobody was as iconic as Michael Jordan. He changed
Mm,
like the world,
yeah,
like just as far as like impact. It really doesn't compare, man. Like
yeah,
it doesn't. So
yeah. It transcended races, right? You see a lot of guys back in the day. Oh man, the Celtics were a lot of white guys, and the Lakers were not. So the white guys would cheer for Boston, and the black guys would cheer for LA.
yeah,
And my brother cheered for Boston, and I would cheer against anything that he ever picked because we always fought. I was
yeah,
thrilled to cheer for Magic. And when Jordan came along, I was like, I need to have his base. I need to have his football card. I'm wearing everything Nike T-shirt. Like, I don't care. I'll put the my wristband halfway up, right underneath my elbow, right on the left
yeah.
side. Like I can do this. Now I was never that good. I played freshman basketball in high school, and that was it. But my goodness, watched all those games.
Sure.
Mm, mm.
That's dope. That is dope.
The If you had a chance to play pro ball for any NFL team, you can only pick one.
49ers.
Why?
Um, Organization is great. The history that they have is great. The style of offense is very exciting. I played H back, so they use us a lot, move us around, and we're a very like important piece of their offense. And then the weather, like weather is
Right?
beautiful. And then the colors, like they very swag. Like the colors is very swag. Like I said, the histories of winning and being competitive. They get it out. They really get it out the mud. Like it's work.
Mm. My team's the opposite in all those things. The colors aren't pretty. They don't have a history of winning, and they got bad weather.
Cleveland Browns. You said I heard you
That's
say
my
that.
team.
I heard
Hell
you say
yeah.
it earlier.
Yeah. Born and raised in Cleveland, so that's who I cheer for in 51 years I've been around. No Super Bowl appearances yet. All right. So one other thing I always have our guests do is do a little homework, so it helps me prepare because I'm selfish. I don't want to do all the research. And Christopher was kind enough to get me some information. One of the things right here on page one, he wrote, tr- "Training is therapy. Journey my why. Love the thought of process developing. Training is therapy. How is training therapy for you first as an athlete?"
When I first fell in love with the weight room, it was funny story. I'm at the school that actually humbled me to be in this position. So I was at Arsenal Tech. We played against Warren Central. This is when Warren Central was Warren Central. Like that's where we're getting it back to. But everybody on their defense went D1.
Mm,
Everyone on their defense when they went to college, they were true freshmen. They played. Um,
dang.
and I was a 14-year-old kid out there against them. And it just showed me like I'm behind and it held me to a standard. So I remember after that game, I looked myself in a mirror and I was like, you would never let anybody put fear in your heart like that again as a man. So I had to see what the blueprint was and I understood what the blueprint was and I went and applied it. So from that point on, every single day I was in the weight room. Built character, it built the confidence, it built the swag, it built me understanding process and not wanting something faster. Um, then I was able to really receive it and understand it.
Mm,
So it built all these beautiful qualities and skills inside of me, and I just fell in love with it because it advanced me, it elevated me, and it gave me a purpose of understanding the true nature of process.
I love that. One of the things I constantly tell people is that confidence comes from reps. And people say, "Oh, I'm nervous here, I have anxiety here." I said, you can visualize what to do in a moment. You can pre-decide, plan everything out as best as possible, come up with different scenarios. Things go sideways, but until you go through it, you still won't believe it. You can. You might have some confidence or some cockiness, but to sit there and know, like right now, if I put 135 on your back, you could stand up, right? Squatting 135 is no longer, oh my God, I wish I could do that. But your 10-year-old boy, probably not. And if you never squatted before, so once you get to two and a quarter, 315, 405, 495, right? One, two, two and a half, three times body weight, you standing up with that weight that could crush your soul and hurt you. You get to go through all your checks before you unrack, step back, go through all your checks, what's going to happen on your squat, down and up, right? Everything's because at a max effort lift, risk is highest. And so everything, you have all your knowledge, you go through everything, and once you do that, you're like, oh man. So squatting is one of my favorite lifts because it always scared me the most.
Yes, sir.
And every time I would stand up with a new weight, I'm just like, I don't care what happens the rest of the day. I stood up with this new weight, man. I stood up with this new weight. And so I love that. How about with kids that you train? Because not everyone's the same. Not everyone is driven. Not everyone is accountable. Not everyone is disciplined. There's always different variations. Some are more, right? And some are less. When you talk to them and you say, hey, man, process, lifting is therapy, slow compound interest effect, progressive overload, just going a little bit at a time, and they want something quick, right? How do you connect with those younger kids and reach them so they see your side of looking at things?
Oh, well, so how you connect, the biggest thing is number one, building a relationship and hearing out a person. So first off, how I start with kids and connecting with kids is letting them know, like, I've been there before. I've been you before. Uh, And I want to give you what I never had. So number one, I got their attention right now because now they see that I care. Um, and then asking them, what is your vision? What is your goal? Like, what do you see yourself doing or what do you want to be? Um, and then they speak about that. So I'm like, okay, most of it is I want to play next level. Okay, so the next question is, do you look like those guys that are playing next level? How can we get you there? Or do you look like those women that are playing next level? How can we get you there? Trust me through this process. And then the other piece is that what I found out, changing the way that I was coached, because I didn't see a lot of my coaches doing the things that they were teaching me. Some of them were, some of them weren't. So them seeing me doing it every single day, them seeing me being strong, me being powerful, me being
Mm,
able to explain these things, right? The application piece of it, they're like, okay, man, this man is teaching, but he's also practicing what he's teaching.
yep. I listen to a lot of Louis Simmons. You know who he is out of West Side Barbell. And he would say, why would you ask someone for advice on how to squat 500 and we can only squat 200, right? Now, even though they might have similar concepts and, you know, mentally sound, 500 pounds on your back, no matter who you are, it hurts. There's pain, right? Just holding the weight, there's pain involved, right? When you have that belt on super tight so you can barely breathe and you push against that with your obliques and your ribs, right? And everything else, you're pushing out into that belt. And if you're a bigger boy and you got a little bit of pinch of fat right there, that gets pinched, that hurts. So and those guys that squat in those suits, right? Or the deadlift suits, like there's more and more pain. They can't even sit down in those things. It's hard to take advice that they don't see you living it at least a little bit, right? Obviously, as you get older, if you're my age, 50, 60 years old, you're not going to be the athlete you were, but they'll still want to see you. Hey, he's still squatting. You might squat in a belt squat. You might be doing other things, right? You're not cleaning 300 pounds anymore, but they still see you live in the fight, living it into being in the fight. It does develop a little bit of trust. And then when they start saying that, when you ask them about, hey, do you look like those other players at the higher level? There's the look of them, how they look physically. But some of those guys, like the Luke Kuechly's of the world, like some of those guys, no matter who they are super smart on every little piece. I
Yes,
remember
sir.
watching this one thing about Jordan when he had the ball at the top of the key and one person defended him. He would says, "I want my left foot here, my both my hands here. No matter what happens, he can't swipe the ball from me. Just in this one moment. So in this position, I want this ball here. They can't swipe the ball away. One little piece and one little part of the game that's has a million different pieces." Do you talk to those same athletes about building themselves emotionally, mentally, nutritionally?
Yes, sir.
How do you go about doing that?
Okay, so and you can participate with this. We both participate. Um, Everything that I teach the kids are in 5 steps. I think 5 steps are a sweet spot of understanding the process. I don't go no more than 5. Again, we still working with high school age athletes. You said earlier that they want instant gratification. Yeah, they do. We're in the age of media, right? Anything they put in their phone, they can type it in, send it, and they get right to where they're going. So me going against that, right? I gotta be strategic how I do it and how I attack it, right? So I asked them, 5 questions and I tell them 5 things and you can participate with me. If this is what you do, you probably do it now being a successful business owner, right? Going through all these processes with these different companies. I say, this is what elite athletes do on the mental side. I say, number one, they learn from failures, right? They don't see it as a loss. They see it as a lesson. That's a
Yeah.
perspective.
Yep.
Right. Number two, they embrace challenges. They choose hard. They go after the things that are a challenge. They go after the things that everybody else is like looking at. Right. They go after these things because they understand that when I go through this process, maybe I may not be at the top of it, but this is going to teach me a lesson. So when I do get the top, I understand how to value it and sustain it. Number three, effort level is always 100%. You don't have to coach an elite person on how to give everything they have. It's all hunters, no matter what. Then number four, they embrace feedback. How many young athletes do you know that are scared to ask questions? I'm too cool. I got an ego. I got this. I got that. Right? That ain't confidence. That ain't swag. Right? It ain't good to have ego if you're not growing. So I tell
Mhm.
them that. And then learn from others, whether that be their mistakes or their successes.
Yeah.
I tell them
Yep.
to raise their hand each and every step. I asked them to raise their hand. So I said, if you didn't raise your hand on every one, by the end of this process, you will understand the process of asking these and how to apply them. That's the mental side. All right. Then you spoke about mental performance, which is mentalism, and then we talk about the physicals piece. 5 essential for enhancing performance. Number one is sleep. Are you getting 8 to 10 hours? I ask them this
Yeah.
frequently, weekly. 8 to 10 hours.
Yep.
This is best reset. Then you already know they love their phones. Y'all put your phone. You put your phone on the charger last night? Yes, coach. So you care more about your phone health than you do your health. Does that make logical sense? Then the whole room get quiet,
Oh, yeah. They're already
right?
beat. They're already
Yeah.
beat.
Yeah. Number two, do you track your intensity? Did I give everything I had today? Did I leave a couple reps in the tank? So I asked them, do they do these? These are 5 things that elite athletes do when it comes to their performance. Number three, they visualize, they see it before it happens. Before I put 650 pounds on the bar, I already seen that I put it on there. I visualized it. I studied it, right? I felt it. I knew what I was going to wear that day. Like I've already seen it happening because you already know you work with mental performance. The brain doesn't know how to differentiate the two. If they see it mentally, they don't know if you did it or not. They just see that you did it in your brain. Brain doesn't know how to separate the two.
Right, right, right.
Number four, systemized recovery. Are you doing mobility training? Are you going to the train? Are you doing heat? Are you in the sauna? Are you doing these things? Then number five, this is the best one. Frequent daily resets, mental resets, meditation, pray, taking a nap, all of these different things. And I asked them, are you doing these things? And how can we get you to do these things? Try them out. If it works, continue to keep doing it. If it don't work, don't do it.
There's about 30 things in there that were just pure gold. I love that. I love that stuff. The visualization thing. Can you think about it in advance? I remember when we're going back to that squat analogy. If I know I have a new squat day the next day, I'll be thinking about the day before. And I had this one guy, he put at a high level at UIndy for football, and then he coached at my gym, Sports Performance. So I learned a lot from him. And I had him train me for a couple of years. So we're doing this method where when we would max out, whatever we would hit, the next week we're going to hit that same number for max reps. So last one week I'd hit 405 for one. Next week I'm gonna hit 405 for as many as I can. And if I can get 3, 4, 5 reps, then we add 5 pounds and go back and hit it for one, right? We're doing that for fives and threes and ones, but every week, man, it's a push. Every week it's a push. It's a new weight or a new number of reps until you fail. And then once you fail, then we back everything off and we start redoing the cycle. But every week it's new weight or new reps or both. So every week was nothing but fear every time I had to lift with this guy for a couple years. And so I start thinking about the night before, right? You start thinking about when you wake up, you start walking and it's different because it's a training day, heads down, music's a little different on the way in, right? I'm doing all the things. Breathing's different. An easy reset is just that box breathing for one round. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and hold for 4. They'll say
Yep.
do that for 5 minutes, which is great. You do that 1 or 2 rounds alone, you will reset your nervous system. Nervous system, and to your point, doesn't differentiate from did you make the lift or not. And you tell a kid don't strike out, the brain just hears strikeout. They just hear the brain just hears the verb. So you tell a kid don't strike out, of course the kid's going to strike out. You have to give them an action verb that's positive. See ball, hit ball, drive ball, things like that. You say don't cave in on your squat or don't let your knees cave in. They start thinking knees cave in, right? So the term for that is neuroplasticity.
Hmm.
You train the brain, and
Yes,
if you
sir.
and I agree we could train the brain, then we start doing it at a young age, and they start doing it. I love that you are making this impact on these young kids because it lasts them decades, right?
Sir.
That's huge.
Yep.
It's huge.
And it sounded like y'all was doing the maximum tension system. That's what it
Yeah.
sounded like y'all were doing. Like
Mm.
and that's a elite. That's a elite program. It is.
Painful.
Yeah.
Painful. One day, like I didn't start lifting until I was 38. I lived unhealthy for a long, long time and had this moment, we talked about this beforehand, where I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to be unhealthy anymore. I'm going to teach my kids how to be healthy mentally and physically and completely change. Like at one point, 185 squat was huge, and then a 225, then 315. So that when I hit 405 for one, the next week he goes, we're going to go for max reps, and Dustin's behind me, and he's unbelievably intense. He's all about the back slap, and I'm like, fuck, he's 250 of pissed off, and I hit 405 for 11 that first time I hit 405 for max reps on a squat, and it was so painful. But he saw the speed, so he knew I had another rep, and so when I was done with that set, I just sat next to the wall for about 5 minutes and just kind of shook because you're hypoglycemic, your blood sugar's dropping, you're kind of dying, but you're like, I knew he had me. I knew my coach had me, so I was safe. I put my trust in him. If he said go again, I would go again. And at that point, it was just unhinged, drift back, knees out, and then drive up. It was just coming down to like 3 words, and your brain just went right to those words, and that's all I thought about. I'm like everything else is gone. The music's off in my head. I don't hear a thing. All I hear is go again, and I go through my process. Go again, go through my process. So it was pure joy to have that level of focus and then have a win like that and your coach right behind you. So I know you
Amen.
know what that I know you know what that's like.
Amen. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Talk about a moment when you were a bit fearful at a younger point in your time, in your age, and you're like, I don't like this a whole lot. I need to figure out a way through or around or over. Did you figure it out on your own? Did you have a mentor? Did you have another coach to help you through that? Talk about a time when you're a little nervous, not necessarily terribly afraid, but hey, man, there's doubt, a little bit of anxiety and doubt. How did you start building reps to handle that every time that kind of creeped in? Because no one that walks around like I got this every day. I'm perfect,
I was
right?
fortunate. I was fortunate. Um, my dad's a pastor,
Mm,
and he's instilled our grandmother. She's on the wall with me. My grandparents.
yes.
She instilled the best thing she ever could instill in our family, which was a relationship with God. Um, and I truly had an intimate relationship with God. So I don't I don't believe in fear, Jim.
Okay.
I believe it's an energy. And I was speaking to the men yesterday when I was in Sunday school, and we were speaking and we were teaching lessons, and I was telling them that fear is just energy. And whatever your relationship is with positive thinking or negative thinking is the route that you're going to go. I believe fear is false evidence appearing real. It's all energy. And then you can either go two ways, right? You can go the positive route where you face everything and rise, or you can forget everything and run. So that's how I see fear. I've never really been fearful because I knew that I had work. I knew that God will keep me safe through whatever, and He wouldn't put me in a situation that He wasn't able to carry me through. So when I had that mindset and I had that at a young age, I never was fearful. I always went into it understanding the process of things, and that is where my foundation and my wisdom came from.
So it was a life generational altering gift your grandparents and father instilled in you. Hey man, I could be dog shit today. God still has me,
Yes, sir.
right? I'm going to do my best and I could be dog shit, but God still has me.
Yes, sir.
When you coach kids, not everyone has that gift, right?
No.
How do
They
you
do
reach
have it
them?
because they do have it because they have me. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It only can be transferred. So God fills me up, and I transfer the energy to them every single day. And then when they have a spite where they're thinking that way, I continue to keep reminding them, and then I tell them about preparation plus the opportunity equals success, which equals confidence. All of those different things, and it's a process. It's an over and over process. It takes 21 days to create a habit, so it's rep after rep after rep, and you're gonna get it. So that's what I go back to, especially and again, all athletes are different. I hear that you're saying that they are. Their thought process is a lot different, but when they're under the leadership, their leadership matters, right? I know you heard that old proverb where it's like a sheep, a leader, a sheep that is a leader leading a pack of lions will lose to a pack of sheep that's led by a lion.
Mm, mm,
I truly know that.
yeah. The energy can rub off. And when you put some
Yes,
not, and once you have the energy and some legit knowledge combined, powerful, right? And
unstoppable.
and then when you see a kid, they kind of trust you a little bit, and then they see some success, and they're like, "Oh wow, hey, I can leverage, I can hold on to this guy, I can hold on to coach, and he's gonna lead the way, right?" And then you get them believing in God a little bit is along the way. Talk about a place to evangelicize. Is that the word? I don't think so. But you could bring that into their lives. Maybe they never lift again, but they walk away with a different relationship with God, right? What a gift. What a gift. How about when you're just told no?
Next opportunity. It's going to be every no will eventually turn into yes. You just got to stay consistent because they don't understand or see the plan right now. But eventually it will happen once you continue to stay consistent with it. If I hit a tree in the same spot 1,000 different times, eventually that tree will wear out. But if I go at it and every time I hear no, I start hitting in different spots, I'm never going to make any gains. Every no will eventually turn into yes if you stay consistent and you know what you want.
How fast was that reaction time? You get the OVR out on that bar per second. You get that on that bar speed, is that meter per second or not? That you hear no. Next opportunity. It was I was already hit in the face with that kick before that bar came up, and I was like, "Oh man."
Come on, man.
He
Come
knew
on,
that
I'm ready.
question. He knew that question was coming. Physical challenge. Like I know you train. Do you set new targets? You want to lift 500. You want to run a 10K. You want to climb Mount Everest. Do you have anything like that on the horizon?
Yeah, I definitely want to run a 5K, 10K. I want to do that and just see mentally where that takes me. All the fitness goals, man, I was just very like I was able to tap into my neural a lot deeper than a lot of people was because again, my relationship with God. So I've done a lot of things that people will look at and be like, man, that's crazy. Last week the kids were maxing and I put 405 on the bar and hit it and they like I'm like, I ain't lifted heavy like this. Like I go 315, I go eccentric, I go time under tension, things like that. Pause it, right, to continue to keep those muscle fibers going. But like in college, I benched 475 pounds. I missed 5 plates by I didn't finish. Most people say they would locked it out. I didn't lock it out at the top. Needed a little bit more tricep work. I didn't finish it. Same thing with the power clean. Like I power clean 385 pounds. I missed 405 in college. But like these are things that people will never be able to accomplish, no matter how much gear and things like that they take. I've never been one of those. I've always been natural and I've always said I'm spirit led, right? And I've back squatted 675 pounds, close to 700 pounds.
Oof,
Um, Being
gross.
able to do those things and have the knowledge that I have, and people actually see me still able to do it. Um, like I said, it builds that trust
It
and
does.
motivates and gives inspiration and hope. Like, hey, man, I can do this. But I'm not under any. I'm not taking any protein. I'm not doing any of that. It's just natural.
So my son just finished at Ball State playing football in December, and he's moved on to the next chapter of his life. And I said, "Are you going to still keep training?" He goes, "Oh yeah, I'll always train." I said, "What are you not going to do?" He goes, "I'm never catching a weight over 300 pounds again. Like when it comes down on your front rack, I don't care how strong you are." He goes, "It hurts.
Different.
You get underneath it, and it slams on top of you." He goes, "I'm never catching weight over 300 pounds again. I don't care." It's like, really? He goes, "Yeah, I'll do plenty of other things, but I'm done there." Right? Because you've been lifting since he was 10, and now he's 20, 23. So yeah. So you have teams that you work with, different levels of age, maturity, interest. You could take them. You could take them to some sporting event to teach a lesson, right? Or some physical event. You could create whatever. Hell Week with Navy SEALs, climbing Mount Everest. If you had some kind of road trip and you're going to take them somewhere, total hypothetical. I've never asked any guest this question. If you're to create some kind of like physical event to help them build themselves up mentally, physically, what would you throw into that mix?
I think it would be. I was just about to say it's a mixture of everything. So I would definitely do jujitsu, which trains the mind. Some form of jujitsu. Boxing and wrestling are similar, very similar. So take them through that training, where it's intervals, right? Then you said the Navy SEALs, where it's challenging your mental and taking you different places that you never thought you would go. But they tell you where you at, they tell you where you have to finish, and then everything through the middle. And then I would also climb Mount Everest because every step, every level is a new elevation, right? And you learn something new on every level that you take. So I will have a mixture of everything. Like I said, I'm a person who's well balanced, and I don't want to just be stuck in one lane, but I want to be able to be a 360 thinker and experience everything so I understand what it takes on all levels.
The Everest thing I've only read about and watched documentaries. I'm a total dork. I'm a big nerd.
Me too.
Once
Same
you
here.
once you get above a certain altitude, you start physically dying.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
called it's called
Yes.
the death zone. You only have so many minutes or hours above it before you're going to die because you can't handle that altitude. And you get to 30,000 feet. That's the normal cruising altitude for most airplanes, right? So that is going to be unbelievably painful. Unbelievably painful. You mentioned the fighting, the jujitsu. The episode that just dropped today was Anton Talamontes out of Fort Wayne. He wrestled at Ohio State. Um, Loves the therapy of the room, of training. So he always wants to, you know, grapple and do MMA, but he wants to lift all the time. He loves bench. And it was an interesting story. One of his ways he loves to test himself, which he does weekly, is he puts 225 on the bench and he'll pick a time domain to see how many reps he can get, usually anywhere from 45 to 60 minutes. And that's the workout after you warms
That's
up.
beautiful. I just did that today. I have my brand, which is PVO. I know you've seen PVO in there. We do that, and I have all different levels. So last week, that was actually our like climbing Mount Everest.
Yeah.
So you start at 5, you got 225 on. You start at 5, and you add a rep every single time. So you go 5, 225 presses, right? And then you go to the back, either do pull ups or lat pull downs. It's a superset. Then you go 6, then you go 8, then you go 9, then you go 10, then you go another set of 10. You finish at 15, that's 120 reps. I got that done last week in 44 minutes. And actually, that's my number, 44. So I got that finished in 44 minutes. That was my goal. But when you talk, go ahead.
I should hook you guys up. You guys would like each other.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
He benched 225 350 times that hour in an hour.
Dope.
And
Dope.
then yesterday he did 250 pull-ups in an hour because you got to balance it out, but he doesn't have so many hours. So when he does a bench like that, he's like, I got to do my pull-ups too. So he has this rack, and it's not with a nice round bar for the pull-ups. It's just a square, tube, the 3x3 tube for your rack.
Yeah. No, right.
That's what he holds on to for the pull-ups.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I'll hook you guys up, man. You'll love that.
for sure.
Next thing I had here, all 100s, no 50s or 20s. I assume that means you give 100%, but I want to make sure I got that right. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All hundreds, no 50s or 20s, baby.
PVO, empty the tank. What's PVO mean for you and what you're?
Positive vibes only. PVO 317. Positive vibes only. Positive thoughts plus positive action equals positive results.
Leave every place better than you found it. So one of the books I love is James Kerr's Legacy. It follows the All Blacks, which is New Zealand's all-time rugby team, right?
Elite.
Elite, right?
Elite.
Yes. The most successful franchise in the history of Earth.
Elite.
75% winning percentage over 100 years. And one of their mantras is sweep the sheds, meaning no matter where they go to practice away games, they leave the facility cleaner than how they found it, right? It's just attention to detail, respect, integrity. What's that mean for you when you're trying to instill that with your guys? They want to leave the room or they want to cut, everyone cuts corners every once in a while, right? No one's perfect, right? I make mistakes, right? How do you instill the leave the place better than you found it with everybody else?
When your kids in school, what grade you want them to receive?
What grade? Oh, I'm going to receive an A.
Amen. So I teach the 5 A's, right? Number one, attendance. You have to be here, right? Late, forgotten. On time is late. Early is on time. Number two, attire. You must be in uniform. T-shirt, shorts, tennis shoes. Everybody's together. Everybody's on one page. Everybody working hard together. Number three, attitude. Attitude. Positive vibes only. Basically, what positive vibes mean, positive thoughts, positive action equals positive results, is developing a growth mindset. Opening your mind, not having a fixed mindset, right? Optimistic, not pessimistic. Number four, attention to detail. In the room, we got a beautiful room. Um, like I said, shout out to Warren Central, superintendent, administration, everybody who had a part in making that room beautiful. Um, Sponsored by Sornex. So everything that IU has, everything that Alabama has, they have
Mm.
dubs on the plates. So every single day, you better make sure those dubs are up. Better make sure the dumbbells, dubs are up. I face to the side, they're up. Make sure the bands are back in their racks. We got two of each color at each rack. Make sure they're structured and where they need to be. If they're not, we got a consequence. Bars are put up in their respective places, and that's how we roll. That's attention to detail. Then the last one,
Mm.
accountability, right? Every set and rep is done with intent and purpose. And that's our 5 A's. So, coach, why didn't I get all my points for today? Did I have to tell you to give everything you got? That's not accountability. You didn't finish all your sets and reps. Did
Mm.
you have your t-shirt, shorts, tennis shoes on? Yeah, coach, but you had a long sleeve on. That missed it. You see what I'm saying? Was your attitude right? Well, it could have been better. So that's why you didn't get your point. You get your five, we roll. Told you everything is taught in 5 steps. So that's how
Beautiful.
I lay that out for him and make it simple.
Something that Christopher is able to do well. The brain has a negativity bias. The brain is built to assume less than positive things by nature so it can prepare and look for things. And so for Chris to develop a mindset that supersedes that negativity bias. Like I could feel myself being negative sometimes. I have to turn it around and I have to go through a process to look at a different lens or a different angle, turn my approach around, right?
But that's a skill that you developed over time. You didn't just have that.
No, I had to work at it, and I still have to work at it today. The
Yeah.
brain wants to be negative, and we
Yes.
can turn that around and look at anything a little bit better. You're gonna have a better result, because you're just gonna bring a little bit more energy when you're feeling a little bit better about things. Just trying to turn it around a little bit, right? And so Christopher seemingly brings that energy, that positive vibes only all the time, makes me want to come over there and start training at Warren Central. And shout out Bert Soren. I had him on the show. He's the son of the founder of Sorenex.
Beautiful.
I, I
Beautiful.
had
Beautiful equipment.
yes, and a beautiful guy who just wants the best for people. Big outdoorsy guy. He has this thing where he wants people lifting and squatting outside in the woods. Like he didn't care, just be one with nature and God. So that to have the whole Soren X outfit your entire uh, weight room. That is a nice, nice gift. My goodness, my goodness. That's thank you to everybody else. Chris, I could talk to you all day long. I'm having a great time, but I also want to be respectful of everyone's time. So when uh when you lift, and we talk about squatting because I'm selfish, so I'm talking about things that I love. What are you gonna listen to on a max effort day on a radio or
Is this
in
is this
music?
now or is this back when I was going?
Back in the day when you all dialed in.
Back in the day, it was rap. It was gangster rap. Like we locked in. Like because um I'm going to kill this bar. Like that's the mindset going into it. Sometimes the people see me on my page and I'm squatting with no safety bars. That's a mindset thing. Because if I don't hit this bar, I'm gonna die. I have to hit this weight. So that's a different part of your brain that you're using right there. Right? Oh, you got to be safety. You got to be careful. Well, your mindset and my mindset is a little bit different. Right? I do this and I've done reps after reps. I failed a couple times. I know I'm gonna get this. This is my mindset. Either hit this weight or you die. Simple as that.
It's right out of the approach that pressure is a gift.
Yes.
Increases focus, clarity, resolve, effort. If you ever watch that Alex Honnold, he's the guy that did that Free Solo movie. Check it out on Netflix. So he climbs up El Capitan, and Free Solo means you do it with no rope.
What's the name of it?
Free Solo, SOLO.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
It's about 2/3 of a mile straight up, no rope, no safety net. You miss a handhold on the rock climbing, death.
That's different. That's different level of focus. That's different level of grit. That's different level of paying attention to detail.
The level of preparation, because you have to
Yeah.
memorize the route the whole way up and know where all the handholds are, because you can't be guessing on the way up. This can't be your first time. He had already scaled it thousands of times, and you have to memorize it and know every little nuance and know what you can do. And when I talk about like knowing your body and training for it physically, he's doing pull-ups on just fingertips or three fingers or two or one finger, where he has this part of his van outfitted so that he can do these pull-ups on the side of the van on his fingers, because this is what, takes what it takes. You ever train no music, just be in your head?
Yes. As you get mature and really tap in, like they say mind to muscle connection, it's a different feeling. This is one of the things that I use because one of the biggest things in the world, and we working with high school age athletes. In high school, you know people was doing everything under the book. One of the biggest common things now is people like to do the vape pens, the THC pens, the weed, all of these different things, right? And because they're looking for that level of ease. So what I do is I combat that with something positive. When you tap into your mind and muscle, just like you were talking about the 405 earlier, hitting it for 11 reps and you feel like you dying, really you was in a daze and you were high. That's
Yeah.
literally what was happening to your body. It's the same effect, but it take a little bit more work. So when you put it in that perspective for them, this is why I do what I do. Me and you are not much different, right? Except for you want it the easy way. I want it for something that's going to benefit me, which takes a little bit more work because it's the same effect. But this one is going to help you. This one is going to harm you. And they both are four-letter words. You want the harm or you want the help?
Yeah. That dopamine release is real when you hit that number by yourself. Yeah. You mentioned that you're not married, but maybe down the road you might be. So let's say there's someone in your life. What's a bucket list adventure you want to do with that someone? You can't
I
have
want
done
to.
it before yet.
I want to go to Africa. I want to go to Jamaica. I'm going to go, um, and I want to go to Egypt. I want to go to Egypt. I want to see how all those things are aligned. Like I want to see all of that because a lot of people, um, they speak about I don't see this or I don't believe in this, but you really haven't been exposed to it. And I know that once you're exposed to it, it's going to shift your mindset about it.
Favorite sports movie?
When the game stands tall, beautiful. It was Long Beach Poly was in this movie, but it was such a phenomenal movie because it's almost like where I came from. So the inner city And then aligning, because it really spoke about my life. That's why it really spoke about my life. Like in the inner city, they had inner city players that was on a team, and they were connected with God. And they had this coach who was really like tapped into himself and understood the spirit and the service. Like he had college offers from college schools, he would throw them away because he knew that his work was much bigger for the developmental state of these high school age athletes. So just understanding that and just all the brotherhood, how they came together, how they were showing the selfish side of things, and how it wasn't working out because people talking about going after records and streaks and things like this. And then at the end, them forgetting all of that and understanding that when we play for each other, we much better. Like you expressed earlier, you said we're better together. So beautiful, beautiful story.
What about a sports comedy?
Long as yours.
The original, old back in the day,
uh, Adam
or the
Sandler.
remake, Adam
I
Sandler's. Oh,
remake with Adam Sandler.
the remake. All right, all right. Can't be mad about it. For me, it's going to be Major League Baseball movie.
Replacements is a good one too. Replacements is pretty funny too. So yeah.
Okay, so I'm assuming favorite sport is football to watch.
To watch? No, that's my
Yeah,
favorite sport. Favorite
favorite
sport to
sport.
watch is basketball.
Okay, favorite sports. Participate.
Participate in football.
Favorite athlete could be young, could be old, could be dead. Doesn't matter.
LaDainian Tomlinson. That he made me fall in love with the game, just about the way that he attacked the game, how he played the game, how he expressed himself through the game, and then just understanding his journey. Right, didn't have a lot of offers coming out of high school with the TCU. He had to be a role player. Right, they asked him to play special teams, they asked him to play fullback. He played all these different things, and he was just a selfish player, selfless, not selfish, selfless player. And then when he got in the position in the role that he was in, he dominated, right? Because he went through all those steps and all those leaps and all those valleys and all those peaks, right? And then when he got his spot and he got his opportunity, he balled out. So just and he gave back to the community. They asked him a question, Jim, and they said, "Do you think that playing a game was more impactful or what you do outside of the game?" And he said, "What I do outside of the game." Giving back to those people. He had charity events. He had college funds that he was giving his money to and helping people who didn't have opportunity get opportunity. Like that's what I'm all about. And just knowing why he did it. He didn't do it out of a evil intent. He did it out of a pure motive and a pure intention to help others be better.
Some people don't realize that when they get moved to a different position, that's where God wanted them to be at that moment. And also, by them moving to different positions, they get to learn a different component of the game. So if you played on defense and now you're on offense, you kind of know what to look for a little bit. And so with Ladainian, with him moving all around, now he has this total vision of how the field's going to unlay with all the different players. He's going to build his knowledge. And he probably looked at it like, hey, this is where I need to be. I'm going to ball out here. And then people forget that, hey, I'm a quarterback or I'm a receiver or I'm a tight end. I'm always a tight end. Don't move me around. That moving around can be a gift. It really can. Because you said you played on both sides of the ball when you were in college. They moved you quickly, right? Totally different animal, and it ended up being a big benefit.
Yes, sir.
Um, I saw a favorite book, Holy Bible. Love that. Love that. How about another book outside of the Holy Bible? Because then tell me dad's a pastor, so I know why we're going there. And obviously a faith-filled man, so that's outstanding. A book that taught you a lot that you thought, hey man, people should probably read this, whether it's about life or whatever else.
Man, it's a lot of them. Um, I know you probably read it. It's Extreme Ownership.
Jocko?
Extreme Ownership. Extreme Ownership. Different level of ownership, different level of leadership. Just that book was powerful. Everybody needs to read that book. It gives you a different perspective of ownership and leadership and holding yourself to a standard and holding yourself accountable. And I know for a truth, not for a fact, for a truth that people who tap into that book, it'll change their whole perspective on life. A lot of people struggling. A lot of people are victims. A lot of people live out of that side of their brain because it's easier. You were speaking about the brain earlier. And one thing that the brain does is it wants to keep you comfortable, right? The brain was not created for us to be great and be reaching for our goals and stepping outside of our comfort zone. We got to train those skills. So that's why a lot of people, I get why a lot of people are stuck in that realm. But extreme ownership will teach you how to hold yourself to a standard no matter what. Um, and this application throughout that book that can teach you lessons to make your life a better one.
So girls in your weight room, she's getting ready to squat, going for a PR. You call the number. You say, hey, put 205 in the bar. You have this, no problem. And she doesn't have it. Whose fault is that?
Mine,
Right?
because I should have approached it a different way. Knowing my athlete,
Right?
sometimes they put weight on, don't even know what they had on the bar. So that's a mental thing too. But just knowing your athlete, knowing because girls are a little bit more detailed than guys are. They're very particular, like, and they don't forget anything. They hold on to everything, and they're much more emotionally intelligent, emotionally aware. So you got to watch how you say things, right? So I love because I got a class full of 70 girls, all girls. And the thing about girls is when they start to hang out with each other or be around each other, train around each other, their cycle starts to happen at the same time. So being able to adapt and understand and coach those things, like, it has helped me be a better coach of understanding how they are, how they act, and me understanding them and knowing where they at. Like I said, it makes our bond and our relationship a little bit better.
That's nice. I find them that they're usually a little more compliant. They're not screwing around as much for me. The boys are like, oh yeah, watch this. Hey man, watch this. A girl walks in and you got to all watch this. I'm like, dumbass, no, stop. Stop. Right. Um, but you're right though, that with the extreme ownership, something goes a little off in your weight room. Well, that's your business. That's your career. That's your company, right? That's your identity. That is everything, right? So anything's off there, that's you. That same thing with me in my gym. Um, I can tell you that in my book,
Man, so I definitely need to check that out.
that there's one chapter in there I thought, you know what? I think I made a mistake here. I probably should adjust this one chapter, but it's not me, right? No one else wrote it. I did it. It's not on the editor, right? So when you know that and you're like, cool, you push your ego aside and then you're like, all right, cool. What do I need to do next? Right?
Yes, sir.
How about this favorite? I love this. Favorite superhero. I should have said this. It could be a real life person. Could so it might change your mind. Could also be fictional,
Okay.
or you could have one, or you could have one of each. All right,
Let's
go.
have one of each.
All right.
The Hulk. Um, of course, man. The Hulk. Yeah,
Beautiful. But he's smart. The Hulk is smart too.
yeah, very
Oh,
smart.
yeah, Doctor. Yeah, Doctor Banner.
The reason for that, man, is because, like you said, Dr. Banner. And what I see with the Hulk is that he's able to express himself, but he really doesn't have a true weakness. So what they did in the series is they developed a weakness for him, which they brought in a woman to make it his weakness. Which with the Hulk, he would just continue to keep getting stronger no matter what he went through. And the Hulk reminds me of Job in the Bible. Like Job of the Bible, like I correlate those two because Job went through so much. He went through so much pressure, but God actually was confident that he wouldn't change because he knew his heart. And to have that much confidence, to have that much um trust in a person, right? I wanted to model my life after that. Like, who wouldn't want that? Right?
Huge.
It was like the more pressure that Job had, the stronger his faith became. No matter what it was in his life. And the more pressure that the Hulk receives, the stronger he gets. And the
He
more
does.
that he adapts. So it
He
kind
gets.
of like correlated those two for me. But my real life superhero is my father. He went through a lot, grew up a certain way. He had 14 siblings, grew up in inner city. He was traveling the world at 8 years old, going around and just giving me hope of understanding, like, he's done this before. He's been through a lot, right? Seeing a lot, seeing every phase of the and coming back and giving us knowledge and game of the things that he's seen so we don't make the same mistakes. So that was I wouldn't even say mistakes, but it
Learning.
shaped him to be in the position that he is in order to help people who are maybe thinking of being that way. So he connects with every single type of person.
All Jesus told Satan was, "You just can't kill Job. You can do whatever you want to him, you just can't kill him." And Job will be just fine. And Satan's like, "All right, we'll see." My kids would say bet, but I'm 51, so I don't do that, right? So,
Bet
and he just kept getting his ass beat every day, in every way. Everything
every
is
way,
every
every
way,
way,
and
financially, emotionally, uh, uh,
the family,
physically.
yeah,
Yeah,
right, everything. And I'm like, man, that dude, impressive, impressive. How about a villain
Eric Killmonger, Black
who
Panther,
is? Oh, okay,
Michael
okay,
B.
okay,
Jordan.
yeah.
One thing I just had this conversation the other day, Jim, and man, I truly believe that Eric Killmonger in back in the day would be the hero. He would be the hero. What I noticed, remember James Bond back in the day? He going against everybody. He going against all the outsiders, and he the one by himself, and he overcomes the obstacles, right? Now in today's time, it's almost like they flip it and make it to where you got the Avengers, you got Fantastic Four going against this one villain, right, and trying to overcome them. So I think in reality, like in my mind, that you got to understand the story of the villain. You got to understand the story of Bane. You got to understand the story of Thanos. You got to understand the story of Eric Killmonger. You got to understand the backstory of it. Because if you went through that process, what would you do? What would you want? That was my favorite. Like I felt like when I watched that movie, I could connect. Be like, man, this is deep. So they did that beautiful. That's my favorite villain.
So Marvel is different than DC.
Yes,
They give you a lot of backstory on the villain. So Eric Lancher, so Magneto, like his family grew up in the concentration camps with Nazi Germany, right? So when his parents are getting killed and there's a number burned into his, tattooed into his arm, you wonder why he's mad at the world when he's been tortured like that, right? Or even the Star Wars when you see how Darth Vader is created, right? So when people are like, oh, he's just a bad person, well, you didn't walk in their shoes. If you knew the whole story, maybe you should just be quiet for a minute. If anything, be thankful you don't have those same challenges. But I can tell you, I got plenty of demons. I made plenty of mistakes in the five decades so far. Like I made some big ones, right? So I get that. Favorite lift for you?
power clean. Power clean. The reason for it, technical. Um, it's very technical. It's very precise. It's very violent. It's very intentional.
You can't just go up and hork the weight. Brian Shaw can. He's got a 350 clean because he deadlifts 1100. Okay, fine, right?
That's
But
yeah. That's a
that's different.
contract. He can kind of muscle that. Yeah.
Yeah, he sure can. It's a bit of a reverse curl for that guy. But when you see people cleaning 2 times body weight and standing up, like there's no error. The bar has to be in the right spot, and you have to be in the right spot and get through everything. A lot goes into that. Um, in terms of training, if you're training athletes, is it conjugate? Is it progressive overload? Is it all velocity based? Is it, if you're training other athletes, how do you approach a 12-month cycle? Just broad terms.
Um, when you're training a high school age athlete, 13 through 19 years old, you got to understand it's certain things that you want to hit. You want to hit the mobility, the flexibility. You want to hit the strength. You want to hit the speed. Um, you also want to hit the mental side of it. Um, But with me, I have a mixture of everything. I do a lot of linear periodization. I do have condensed conjugate. I do have contrast training in the program. I do have certain days for VBT, velocity based training. Um, I do have days where it's just mobility, flexibility, and understanding the different joints and the movement. So it's like I said, when you're in the strength and conditioning world, building an athlete, they got to have everything. You got to put them in a lot of different situations in order for them to again advance. And then following the 5 training principle laws, knowing those, and my favorite way to train is hybrid. I like to train in a hybrid way. So kind of like a total body going from one lift to the next lift, kind of contrasting that lift, and having my brain understand why I'm doing it, right? So I can apply it to when I'm competing or whatever I'm doing.
What I find challenging is that I talk to strength coaches and they'll say, "Well, this is how I do it, and this is the only way to do it." And I'm like, "Oh
If,
man,
if you hear that, then I probably wouldn't even be talking to them.
run, run." They
Yeah,
start saying, "My way is really people gonna come around this, and this is." I'm like, "Man, come on, man." Like, uh, I wrote 10 million bucks. What would you do? I'm doing it daily. Life plus performance coach. Love that. All 100s, no 50s. Um, influence, thinking, actions, habits, character. Walk
that's
me
the
through that.
process. That's the
Walk me.
process. Mental performance you talked about, right? 5 steps that I teach to kids. Whatever is influencing you creates your thinking, creates your thought. It creates a thought. Whatever you're influenced by, what you're watching, you know what I mean, what you're doing, who you're hanging around, creates your thinking. Your thoughts become actions. Your actions lead to habits, right? And then your habits is your character, who you are as a person.
That's right.
So
That's
you
right.
got to ask, what is influencing me? What is motivating my thinking? What is changing my thinking? What am I doing with those thoughts? And if I continue to keep doing those things with those thoughts, they become a habit of mine. And then that's who I am.
Once that's woven into your identity, man, and you weave the right or wrong things in there, they're going to be in there for a long, long time,
Yes, sir.
right? Until you make some other changes. Um, where can people find you, Christopher?
Um, on Facebook, you can find me at Chris Smith or Christopher Smith. I got 2 pages. On Instagram, you can follow me at ctaki_44 and then also PVO317. Same for TikTok, ctaki_44. And then on X, you can find me ctaki_44, PVO317.
You hear that 44? That's the football number back in the day, right?
There.
Yeah.
Call me
So
Fofo Bulldog.
you get one pair of shoes, one pair of Jordans the rest of your life. You got them right behind you, or what? You got a version of it? I've only had
One
one pair.
pair. This is the only pair I can wear.
That's it.
Gotta go Black Cats.
All right.
All right. The reason being, you can dress them up, you can dress them down. They're not too loud. They go with everything. Comfort, stylish.
They look like they've never been worn.
Never have. I got 2
You
pair of
don't.
them.
So you have one pair just to look at, and then another pair you wear.
Yeah, because them
Get
are
out of here.
those are dead stock, man. You know what I'm saying? You gotta, you know, shoe business is a shoe business. You getting banned. So this pair right here, these are called the Off-White Force. These are. Give me what you think they're going for
What year are
right
they?
now? These released 3 years ago. They're never releasing again. It was a one-time release.
Never again.
Never again.
$500.
These are up to 2,000. Yeah, so those are different. Off White is a big brand that collab with Jordan, but yeah, those were 2,000. They still going for two
Yo.
because they
All
never
right.
making them again, so they're valuable.
All right. Well, Chris, I had an outstanding time with you. So stick on around when we're done here. For those that want to continue getting a hold of us, do that. info@athlete-builder.com. You can pick up my book, Athlete Builder, The Blueprint to Build Champion Athletes. And then reach out. The Mental Edge Academy is life changing. I stand behind it with everything I know about building the mind. It is a life changing tool, like anything else. Like just like the weight room is a life changing tool. So check that out, the Mental Edge Academy, and hit me up. You want more? You have questions about that? Chris, until next time, man. I loved hanging out with you. Shout out Derek Moyers again. Really enjoyed it, and you're gonna be great, man. Yeah.
One, yeah, I was just holding up the Dove C, but one thing I wanted to leave the people with was the 5 steps, the PVO mindset that you can add to your life. Like you were just talking about the mindset, right? Number one is think about only what you want, right? Forget about what you don't want. Never speak on what you don't have embrace and value what you do have, and then live in the present so you're not stuck in the past. All hunters know 50s or 20s.
Beautiful. I like things that make sense, have purpose, they're concise, useful, and speak to your identity. I love it. Love it. Thanks, Chris. Enjoyed it.